Just under 90 seconds.
90 seconds away. Let's give it up for the announce crew. What do you think of Nigel McGuinness? How about Tony Schivonie? Let's go. So, that's what I'm saying. Let's go, Tony. It's great to hear Tony Schivonie calling wrestling on Saturday night.
Yeah!
I love it. We're about to have a great time. After we get done with AEW, I know it's our first time here for AEW. Also, my first time here for Ring of Honor. I can tell we're real hardcore wrestling fans here, so after we're done, stick around, there's a lot more. Bobby, how long till we go live?
40 seconds.
40 seconds away! We're just getting started. We're gonna have a great time tonight, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here tonight. Let's go!
Hey, what's happening, everyone out there in YouTube land? It's Sunday. You know what that means. Time for another exclusive scoop episode of ABW Detonate right here on YouTube. I am the old school AB, being joined once again by the Bard of the Boiler Room, the Deacon of Destrucity, the Pontiff of Pain himself, the one and only, Kind Man. Kind Man, how the hell are you today, my friend?
I'm doing good. You got a lot of energy for someone who was up late last night.
I'm telling you, I am still pumped, although I do have a slight headache. I had a beer last night.
Oh, boy.
I don't drink, for those of you out there in YouTube land, so for me to have a beer is kind of a big deal, so I felt it. I felt it.
Oh,
I might be feeling it this morning. I had a slight headache, not a huge one, just a tiny itty bitty one. But I
had a beer last night too.
Yeah, you had a beer and about 15 cocktails.
Exactly.
Jesus.
I used to have 3 beers on tap at my house in my bar, but my keg cooler shit the bed.
Yeah.
About a year and a half ago. And I had the same keg cooler for 16 and a half years, never had a problem. That one crapped out after 16 and a half years, which I'm more than happy about. The one thing I've learned about appliances in the future state of manufacturing, the next one I bought the exact same model, the exact same make, everything. Right. Got it put behind the bar, had to have somebody come out to cut a hole in it to run the beer lines through, insulate everything. That one lasted about 18 months.
Wow.
And then I spent $3,000 on a $3,500 cooler to get for them to try to fix it.
Right.
And they still never fixed it. So I was like, I am done with beer on tap. I'm done with the cooler in the basement bar.
I don't blame you. That's a big mess to try and sort through.
Yeah.
There's no warranty or anything like that, is there? I mean,
there is, but
okay.
It's like for like 12 months. So it's like one of those, and it's a huge commercial machine. Getting a commercial company to come out and service something in a residential for some reason is like this big taboo, and I don't quite understand it. So there was only one refrigeration company that would even come to my house, and they couldn't fix it. And it was just so frustrating.
Well, that really sucks. Can you still use it as a refrigerator, though?
I cannot use it as a refrigerator.
So you can't use it at all. It's just
No, I use it as storage under my bar.
Storage under your bar, yeah.
Yeah. So I have like all my backup bottles and snacks and mixers, like tonic. My tonic is down there. It's just not cold.
Tomato juice, all that.
But my ice is cold. So
very good, very good. You don't have tomato juice down there, do you?
I don't have anything that you need to refrigerate.
Well, tomato juice you don't need to refrigerate.
Oh, okay. Then no, I don't have tomato juice because I don't drink tomato juice.
Okay. In case you were making Bloody Marys or you were going to have
for example, yesterday, not only did I have probably 12 gin and tonics, I also had 2 margaritas because I infused tequila with jalapenos and habaneros yesterday.
Okay.
So I wanted to, although it wasn't hot yet, I wanted to test it out. But I had to go all the way up to the main floor to get the margarita mix, because that does need to be refrigerated. So it's like a big, not that I don't need my exercise, but for all mixers that need to be refrigerated, I have to trek all the way up the stairs from the boiler room.
Refrigeration woes aside.
Well, I'm sure the beer was cold at
yeah, it was ice cold.
The arena.
It was ice cold. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't even know where to start. If you saw the opening of the video, you saw Tony Khan's little spiel to us at the very beginning of the show. He comes out the very beginning of the show and does his little, I'm Tony Khan and I do wrestling, hardy, hardy, har. And the crowd goes, yay for Tony. And that's an exclusive.
I don't think that was on.
Oh, no, it wasn't on TV. It's at the front of the video that
Okay.
people are watching now. I took it on my phone.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, yeah. So it's an exclusive. Get it?
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
You're seeing something
Wow.
exclusive here.
Breaking news.
Yeah, I don't know if it's how breaking it is, but yeah, we had a good time last night. All things considered, I would wrap it up and say that in summary, that overall I had a way better time than I had with any of the complaints or issues that I had with some of the things that happened, and some of those things are beyond AEW's control, and some of those things aren't, and maybe I'm just being too grumpy here, but we'll get into all of it. They started off the night with a Ring of Honor match, which I thought was really weird how they're going to separate it out, because they had Ring of Honor tapings after the show, which, full disclosure, I did not stay for all of it. I left because I'm an old man, and I'm also a type 1 diabetic, and if I don't get my insulin, which I didn't take with me because I didn't think I was going to have to, bad things happen. So I left to go home, and that was me. But they started off the evening with a Ring of Honor match, and I don't even know who any of these guys were. I feel so embarrassed to be a wrestling fan, because three of the jokers in the ring were nobodies. They were muscleheads. They weren't even muscleheads. They were just schmucks. They looked like they could have been out of the crowd for all I know.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they had three beefcakes come down the ring and beat the shit out of the jobbers, and, everybody gets to clap and yay, we get warmed up for the crowd tonight. And that's when Tony Khan came out and was like, hey, everybody, I'm Tony Khan. And everybody's like, yay, Tony. Yeah. I will say the craziest thing was, like, where we were sitting, which was really good seats, by the way. We were actually in the second row. We were in the second row, about 2 seats out from where the announce table is. So if you look as to where my camera panned for the thing, you'll see Tony Schiavone, plain as day, sitting right there. At one point, Tony was right behind me, literally behind me. And I said, Tony, I want to party with you. And he no-sold it. He's like, I'm not looking. Yeah. So I got shunned by Tony Schiavone.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, I don't know what the deal with that is. Tony, if you're listening, man, I'm a cool guy. I don't know what to say. Anyways, but yeah, so, and it was it was an overall good show. The Wheeler Yuta whole thing, I'll make notes about specific things that I see that don't translate well across television, and hopefully that, I'll give you an example. Wheeler Yuta. That kid has back knee for days.
Has a back knee?
Yeah, you know what back knee is, right?
Yeah.
It's acne all over your back. How is that kid taking bumps in the ring and not squeezing juice out every time he does it? Give me a break. Time to wash that shit. Get yourself a loofah on a stick. You know what I'm saying? Wash your back. Fucking. Anyways, that was secondary to the overall point, which was all night long. And I'll say this before I go into any more of the match and content, by the way. I don't usually complain about things like this, but oh my God. And I don't think he's listening, but if he is, dude, you need to know you were uncool, bro. There was a guy that was sitting next to me, and I don't know how this is physically possible, right? He sat next to me, and he literally dwarfed me. It was like a black shadow of just humanity sat next to me, and all I could smell was garlic and BO, right, and hot meat.
Oof.
Yeah, and it's just this massive, massive monster of a man who, by the way, was shorter than me, but somehow when he sat down in the seat was elevated. I don't know if it was just like the fat in his ass that was lifting him off the chair or what.
Like,
But no, and I don't feel bad about calling him that because he was a dick. Anyways, he made the night somewhat miserable. Just you get a guy that big, and I'm not exaggerating, right? He was over 300 pounds, and he's man spreading across everywhere and just taking up the whole bunch of both seats on either side of him. And I'm just like, dude, can we not get some help over here? Can we not get security or something to buy 2 tickets? I mean, I'm really sorry to say that. I'm not fat shaming anyone, but if you're going to an event, have some fucking courtesy, man. Don't, at least if you're going to do that, don't man spread. Take a fucking shower. Anyways, now that the nastiness is out of the way.
yeah.
The
back knee and the BO.
Right, the back knee and the BO, right? So all the bad stuff slicked off all the way, right away. No, the first match was great. Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli versus FTR went to a time limit draw. I have no complaints about the match other than I wish it had an ending that was better than a time limit draw. Because look, I mean, you have a situation where the Blackpool Combat Club and FTR rarely cross paths, right? To put a match together with nothing to build behind it would suggest you're going to build something after it or something to the like. And when I saw Brandon Cutler come out and say he's not going to give the people 5 more minutes, I thought this was it. I thought, well, we're going to have an old-fashioned beatdown, and somebody's going to come out and restart the match, and we're going to go. No, it wasn't like that. They just beat Brandon Cutler down, and they all took off. And I'm like, well, if you wanted 5 more minutes and you're not going to get 5 more minutes, well then, I don't know. I don't know.
They just, once again, for my take on this, because I'm not used to a lot of time limit draws.
Yeah.
My take is they didn't want either of them to lose.
Right.
And I think they're both undefeated in 2024 or something like that.
Oh, sure.
Something like that. And they didn't want either of them to lose. And they wanted to further get more people in trouble with the Young Bucks.
Well, if they don't want them to lose, then they shouldn't book them in a fucking match to lose.
No,
Jesus. Anyways, I mean, I'm starting to sound like a real old fucker right now, but Jesus. No, it was a good match. Like I said, lack of finish for me was there. It was a night of seconds for us, as you'll hear me say. This was the second time I've been to AEW. The first time I drove all the way to Kansas City to watch them, and I got to see a 30-minute time limit match there too. So I got to see 2 time limit matches.
Maybe it's
for
you.
AEW. Maybe it's me. I'm the time limit curse, I guess.
By the way, you want to know what was interesting on the broadcast? They actually introduced it as they were live in Omaha.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said it originally, and then they said exactly what they were. What it was.
Council Bluffs,
Iowa.
Yeah,
Castle Bluffs, Iowa. But they originally were saying Omaha at the beginning of the match.
Good. Well, they should, because Omaha is better than Council Bluffs in every discernible way. I just want to put that out there for all of you nerds out there that might be Iowans. You know what Iowa stands for? Idiots out wandering around. That's the state, folks.
Oh boy.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We kid. We jest. Their football team sucks, but we jest. I know. That's what they tell me. I don't know. I'm not a football fan. Anyways, so that was good. I really enjoyed that. That the first match was a good way to start. I really thought that was going to be the main event, and in a way, I was kind of disappointed that wasn't the main event because of what the main event was, which we'll get to.
And by the way, AEW does have a very very good track record of putting better matches
Oh, they do.
first and worse matches as the main event.
Oh, they do.
They
And
have, they have
I'm
a
not,
very good track record of that.
not sure why. I don't know what the deal with that is, but all right.
One of the first AEWs, when you got me to start watching, one of the first ones I've ever watched, I wrote down notes at the end. I said every match got worse after the first one, like all the way
Well, I don't
through.
know if it was
like,
that bad, but
well, no, the first match was the best match, and then it just went increasingly down to the worst match of the night being the main event.
wow.
And I wouldn't say the worst match of the night was the main event in this last night, but
No, I wouldn't either.
yeah, no.
No, not by a long shot. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, time limit draw. Not a fan of the ending. Up next, Chris Statlander versus Robin Renegade, who did not get an announcement. I remember she came to the ring and got into the ring while it was still dark, and my wife kind of elbowed me, and she's like, "Who is that in the ring?" I'm like, "Oh, that's Robin Renegade. I guess Chris Statlander's coming out next," because I knew what the matches were. And yeah,
There were
sure enough.
two matches that I was like, brought me back to the old days of wrestling where I'm like, this person didn't get the introduction
Yep.
on TV.
Yep.
This is going to be ugly.
That's right. But they got to debut Statlander's new entrance, which doesn't look as impressive in person as it probably does on television, because all it looked like to us was just a black and white and purple screen, I think. I'm not even sure what it looked like, but to you guys.
I don't even remember.
Yeah. By the way, have not watched back the episode yet, guys. So I'm going into this thing blind. I'm just telling you what I saw from eyewitness account. But yeah, so Statlander comes out. Yeah, Statlander pins Renegade. We knew it was going to happen. It was kind of a nothing burger match. Stokely and Statlander cut a promo after the match saying that they are going to enter the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament, which this year the winner gets a title shot. So I'd be curious to see how far they take this. If they're building towards a Willow Nightingale / Chris Statlander match at the finals for that Owen Hart Cup. I don't know all the participants yet, and this is what makes it so hard for us, because I remember this was a conversation point that you had. If we had prior knowledge of a tournament, we could do the brackets on the show.
Yeah.
But announcing a tournament nilly-willy and just...
Well, hopefully by the time they have all the participants, we have an idea.
And if we do, then great. Then we can put a bracket together. But, I mean, otherwise, what are we doing? We're just kind of farting in the wind.
WWE does the same thing. They do these any of these tournament style. They just do it. They could get a lot more pub and a lot more listener and watcher, viewer participation. I mean, just look at college basketball. Men's college basketball is basically dead.
Yeah.
But for one month a year,
March Madness,
everybody in their and their mom fills out a bracket. So they could these tournament style, they could make a lot more engaging.
They could. Yeah, I'm not sure what. I think it's just because they want to hot shot it out there and get it done, but they shouldn't do that in any event. But no, Stokely, and by the way, this is the other observation. My wife said that she thought Chris Statlander was going to be taller than she was, and I kind of did too. And she's not really tall. It's just that Stokely Hathaway is a short little dude, she didn't look like she was
just thick.
Yeah, she is, but when you see her like in live and in person, she doesn't look like she's that thick. She looks more muscular than thick. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah.
I think, like, when I look at her thighs, she is thick.
Yeah. Yeah. But they cut a promo, and I kind of had a feeling. I was kind of disappointed because Willow didn't come running out right then and there to beat her ass. But I was like, well, I guess that's the thing. I guess I'll be disappointed. No Willow Nightingale for me tonight. And so off we go. And then we get the next match, which I was actually looking forward to this match. Dustin Rhodes versus Johnny TV. And this was a bit of a dud. As a matter of fact, there were so many missed spots out there. It was unbelievable. How many times did Johnny TV screw up a move, or poor Dustin.
Johnny's getting old.
Well, Dustin's older than he is.
Yeah,
and he's out there still working it like a fucking boss. But yeah, you can tell Dustin wasn't happy about the match after the fact too. But what's he gonna do? And he cuts a promo on Jack Perry, which the crowd was in for. Crowd was into. I'm not sure if that translated on TV. It was kind of dry. Was it just kind of?
Oh, I didn't understand. I thought he was announcing his retirement.
Oh, well, see,
the way he was talking. Why is he thanking cameramen and then going after Jack Perry? Like to be honest with you, I'm like, oh, is this his last match? Like in fucking Iowa?
Well,
like,
see, and that's what I thought at first too.
You should have a bigger. You get a bigger send off than this.
Yeah.
And so I thought he was retiring, and then he starts going after Jack Perry, and just after thanking the cameramen.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was saying. That match was so bad. I hope the cameraman made it look good. Maybe that's why he thanked him.
Yeah, more or less.
It's like, but yeah, the promo did nothing for me. Like, just once again, they're just taking this team. They're trying to add people to the list that hate the Young Bucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that so the Young Bucks can retaliate against them is
Sure.
basically what they're doing. They're just adding more people. That's why they, FDR and Blackpool Combat, and neither of them lose.
Yeah.
But
Dustin
both
Rhodes is an
something
easy
bad.
target too. So, yeah. It's
Mark Briscoe. Let's make all the people that hate the Young Bucks.
For the record, I also thought that he was retiring, and I was almost, for this brief moment, I was like, are you fucking shitting me? Is he retiring here in fucking Council Bluffs? In Council Tucky? Give me a break. No, he wasn't retiring, folks. He won't do that for just a little bit, but he is getting up there. He's not going to be around much longer. I was happy to see Dustin out there. So, no complaints from me. Next, we get an on-screen promo for Zack Sabre Jr. at the Forbidden Door that they played in the arena. I don't know. It was kind of a nothing burger for us. We were kind of like, all right, great.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. And then next was the first and only unpromoted match, unannounced match, I guess you would say, of the night. The Premier Athletes, Tony Nese and whoever that other guy is, versus Dante Leon and Trip Jordy. And this was just a basic squash match.
Yeah, I don't think that made television.
You don't think it made television at all?
I do. Those names do not ring a bell.
Okay, interesting. So maybe that was just a 30-second in-between match for us whilst things were happening out there. I'll be curious to see what the deal. But anyways, Premier Athletes came out, Tony Nese, and I can't remember what the other guy's name is, but with their manager, Smart Mark Sterling.
I don't think this one made prime time.
Yeah. But they came out and beat the shit out of some jobbers, maybe some local guys. I don't know.
I like that. I like that they're getting back to the old days.
Yeah.
Of, Steve Wilmington.
Yeah. Trip Jordy. What a name. Yeah, so that was a big nothing burger, but it would come into play later on in the night, and we'll find out, shortly. And this is why I wondered if it was on TV. Because after this next match, which was probably your favorite match of the night, Tony Storm versus Lady Frost. And of course, Tony Storm pinned Lady Frost in not an easy fashion. I mean, look, Lady Frost is good at what she does. And, by the way, they had a pretty decent little match out of the things, I'll say.
Yeah, they actually had one where I thought, Storm, after taking a pretty good bump from, that Storm actually kicked out late.
Yes.
And that I was like, oh my God, this is 3 because I see her not moving and the
Yeah.
3's coming down. And I was like, oh my God, she's not going to lose, is she? And I think it was just Storm was just a little late on her kick out on one of them.
Yeah. There's just an observation from my part on this. She came out with like Luther and all those guys. I even recorded her entrance. I put her entrance on our Discord channel, which is even more reason for you to get on Discord and talk with us, because you'll never know what exclusive drops I'll be hinting at for you guys down there. But link is in the description below. She isn't black and white in person.
That is true. I figured that. I think you were missing out.
Right.
On seeing the black and white with the little cracks and like the old recording.
Yeah. But no, Mariah May is so much more gorgeous in person than she is on camera. Like, the camera doesn't do her justice. I don't talk like that a lot, but holy mackerel. Like, you just don't even understand. You can't believe it. You can't believe it unless you see it. But it's there. So let that be a lesson. If you really want to go to AEW and see Mariah May, now's your chance, I guess. Go forth and see her. They'll be in Des Moines Wednesday night for Dynamite. So if you're so fortuitous, you could probably get there that night and buy tickets right there and there at the ticket counter. That's what people were doing tonight or last night. They were buying tickets at the ticket counter. I was amazed. I hadn't seen that in years. I thought most people bought them in advance, but what do I know?
I listened to a radio show and the guy was on a flight once, and the stewardess, the flight attendant, when she did her announcements, she says, we are heading down and we will be landing in Des Moines in 20 minutes.
Yeah, Des Moines. It's pronounced Des Moines. And if you're from there and you say it that way and people look at you like you have 10 heads, and you have every right to give them the finger, I think. Because it's Des Moines. People say Des Moines.
Des Moines.
Des Moines. That's a new one for me.
That's the fancy part of Iowa.
Yeah. The fancy rednecks say it like that.
Yes.
You know, the ones that drink wine coolers.
Yes.
And so this is what was upsetting to me after the fact, right? Because after that match, there's a segment where Samoa Joe and Hook are backstage talking about lacrosse for some reason. And who do they go up and beat up? They go in and beat up the Premier Athletes who were just out in the ring wrestling a match. I thought that's what they had, a connection there. So, but if you're telling me you didn't see that match, then
I did not. Now, because I did see the Joe and Hook segment, so that's why I definitely didn't see those dudes, because I'm like, I don't know who those dudes are.
Okay, yeah. So they had a very short match, probably during commercial, and then
not in picture.
Yeah, not in picture. But yeah, and of course that really ticked a lot of people off, because there was a small Joe chant going, but we really wanted to see Samoa Joe out in front of the people in the ring. You think about this. He is, to this point, arguably the biggest star AEW has in Council Bluffs that they showed us on TV thus far. Why aren't they putting him out into the ring? I mean, no disrespect to Claudio, right? No disrespect to FTR, but, Samoa Joe is Samoa fucking Joe. I don't know. I would have preferred he come out to the crowd and do something with us than...
Well, couldn't he have beaten those guys up in the ring?
He could have. He could have, yeah.
Couldn't it have been the same bit?
It could have. It could have. Yeah, this is one of those things that...
Could have made the manager poop his pants like they did in the back room. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the scoop with that is, but there you go, folks. So we were disappointed by that. But the night was, well, not young anymore, but continuing on. We got another match, Daniel Garcia versus Tate Mayfairs, which was a very short match, just an enhancement match, really. A jobber out there to make Daniel Garcia look good, I guess. He did his thing.
Could we retire that gyration?
Yeah, I don't know.
Garcia, because it's cringy.
Yeah, it doesn't look any better in person. Can I tell you that?
Well, luckily, when he stood up on the barrier and did it, he did it on the other side of the ring from you.
Yeah, he did it on the other side. I was thankful for that, because if he would have done that in front of me, I'd have been like, oh my God. But yeah. So anyways, that was the thing that happened. And then it's time for the main event, which the crowd seemed to be okay for, right? But there's evidence that it was not, right? And I'll tell you, Orange Cassidy versus Kyle O'Reilly was actually not a terrible match to see in person, right? It wasn't the worst match on the card either. But, I hate to say the word but, it's Orange Cassidy. And yes, there was a little kid that was sitting right in front of me, almost, right to my left-hand side there, who liked Orange Cassidy. And you know what? Good for him. I'm glad the kids have somebody to look up to and watch wrestle and, do their thing. But he does nothing for me. Nothing for me. And
He just seems like his whole thing now is just getting pummeled.
yeah.
Getting hurt.
Well, yeah.
And winning.
Yeah, that's just always
Kind
been
of like
his
his
thing.
thing. It's
That's
like,
always been
let
his
me-
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, let me see how badly I can get beat down
Yeah.
and still win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Orange Cassidy in a
That's
nutshell.
his shtick.
Yeah, and he did a pretty good job of it that night too. But again, he shouldn't win every fucking match, man. He's the most wrestled guy in in all of AEW. He's wrestled the most matches. Is that what you were telling me?
Yeah. But like not just the most, by more than 2 times.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like more than double anyone else.
yeah,
And by the way, what were they doing in that match with the Kingdom? Like they tried to make something with the Kingdom and this other dude, and then like I was like, oh, I think Orange Cassidy's going to lose because they're kind of setting this up that the Kingdom is coaching this guy to beat
Kyle
Cassidy,
O'Reilly,
and but then they just didn't pay it off.
no, and I have
I mean,
no idea why.
The Kingdom didn't get involved in the match. They didn't.
Yeah,
He whispered in his ear, and then all of a sudden Cassidy starts getting beat up, and then they just never, and then they just went away from that storyline.
yeah, it is kind of weird, isn't it?
They set it up and then just let it just.
Well, we didn't know what was happening in the arena either because we saw them come to the ring. We saw them come to the arena to sit ringside, but when they didn't do anything, we were just like, "What the fuck?"
Well, O'Reilly went over to where it was fighting next to them one time, and what's his name? Whispered into his ear.
Yeah,
something.
I think Matt Taven whispered in his ear or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the leader.
Adam, that guy.
Yeah.
Roddy Strong.
Yeah, Roderick Strong. It whispered in his ear, and then all of a sudden the match turned in O'Reilly's favor. So on TV, they were playing that up.
Yeah, okay.
They were saying, okay, Roderick Strong just gave him a tip. And then that's the last you heard of them or anything. It was the stupidest thing in the world.
Tip. Yeah. I don't know.
As you know, I'm not a big Orange Cassidy guy either. But
so here's the thing that I'll remark. The thing that I took away from this match mostly was the crowd tried to get chants going all night long. I don't know how well some of these chants took off or if you heard them on TV to any great degree, but they tried to get a chant during the Orange Cassidy Kyle O'Reilly match for "This is awesome," and it didn't really pan out. All I heard was people going. It sounded like people were on their phones like this, going, "This is awesome." That's exactly what it sounded like in the arena. Like people weren't even paying attention to what was going on in the ring because it was long. But whatever. Anyways,
I did hear the "This is awesome" chant, and it did not sound overly exuberant.
Yeah, no.
mainly because it wasn't awesome.
No, exactly.
But this maybe they were saying this isn't awesome.
No, they were saying this is awesome. I was right there. I should have turned around like they did in The Simpsons. Are you saying boo or are you saying boo earns? Yeah. But no, the end of the match was where all the magic happened, where all the money happened. After the match happened, Don Callis and his cronies came out to the ring, which, by the way, they came within a fucking breath away from us as they swiped right beside us on the way out to the ring. Don Callis is not that tall, by the way. Him and who was it? Kyle Fletcher? Was that the kid's name? The Aussie? Anyways, they had his goon squad out there and they were beating him up with Trent, his new goon. And of course, this brings out Chris Statlander for some reason because she had to come out there and get in the middle of the action.
Was she was previously associated with Orange Cassidy?
She was, correct? Yeah.
Okay, because she hit him last week and then she came out again. Yeah. I don't really know, other than to get you a glimpse at Willow Nightingale. I don't know why Statlander came out.
Well,
she really didn't do anything.
And that is exactly what leads me up to the next point, which was when I heard the music hit, I was so ecstatic. I was so excited. I tried to get my phone out to record. I couldn't do it because she ran to the ring too fast. But oh my God, what a way to end the show. And can I say, Willow Nightingale is 10 times more gorgeous in person than she is on television. I'll just say that right there. Willow, if you're listening, oof.
I think she's cute.
She is definitely.
I think she's really cute.
She is definitely. But no, you know, they had a new thing. They tried to get like a chant of a new best friends thing going. I don't think that's going to be the case. Well, maybe it would. You know, who knows? But no, and that was pretty much the end of the night. You know, Bobby Cruz came back and told us to stick around because there was Ring of Honor, and about half the people started filtering out. And that's what I was kind of like, well, about time I got home and took my insulin. So that's what I did. And we left. I didn't see any of the Ring of Honor stuff. But I do want to say, out of all of it, as much as it sounds like I complained about a lot of things, it wasn't nearly as bad as I probably make it out to sound. It was a great time. I wish there would have been bigger name stars that showed up. I wish that the big name stars they had that showed up had come out in front of the crowd. Samoa Joe would have been a nice touch. I like the fact that there were 2 women's matches. You know, it's silly why we can't have more than one on an AEW broadcast. And now we're finally past that point, I think, which is great. I don't know. Kind Man, what are your wrap-up thoughts on this thing?
No, it's fun. It's good to hear a little behind the scenes. You know, from the live, you know, it's good. It's good for our perspective to realize that you sometimes have matches or shows that don't make the broadcast. So even AEW has long lost matches.
That's right.
In Iowa. So
that's right. So I guess what I'll do is I'll leave it up to you now, Kind Man. Is there anything you want to add? Anything that you want to leave us with? Words of wisdom?
No. I thought it was a decent show, and it was good to hear some of your kind of behind the scenes, backstage takes on some of the matches.
Yeah, well, like I said, you know, Tony Schiavone won't party with me, and Don Callis isn't as tall as he looks on TV. So. Which, if that's the case,
Mariah
May. Oh, holy man!
I'm not big into blondes, but
neither am I. And that's the thing. Like, holy cow! Anyways, we want to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us today. Don't be a jabroni. Drop an elbow on that subscribe button, and if you're feeling extra saucy, frog splash over to that. What is it? The thumbs up button. We would have really appreciated it. Don't forget to share our channel with people you think might like this sort of thing. It helps us grow, and it makes you feel good about doing something nice for your fellow man. Once again, thank you all so much. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.
Have a nice day.